Deep in the Mariana Trench, strange lights flicker in the darkness that once left humans helpless. Now, as AI scans the data, it detects an orderly sequence of signals, like a language that has never been deciphered. And that light pulse coincides with a global catastrophe. For ages, the ocean has been considered a silent graveyard, burying secrets that humans have never touched. But when AI enters the picture, those streaks of light suddenly appear like a message. They are not random, but have a clear structure. The creepy thing is, this sequence of light pulses repeats itself right at the tumultuous periods of history. People begin to ask, is the ocean floor still preserving ancient wisdom, or a warning from someone out there? And if AI has heard the echoes from the darkness, do we dare to decipher it to the end? At a depth of more than 11 kilometers, the Mariana Trench is not only the deepest point of the ocean, but also a symbol of the unknown dark area of the Earth. Here, the pressure is thousands of times greater than the sea surface, which can crush any ship, and the temperature is always near freezing. People, for centuries, have tried many times to touch the bottom of that abyss, but only a handful of people have set foot on the bottom. However, what is more frightening are the traces we encounter during the exploration process. Rhythmic flashing lights, repeating sequences that seem to carry messages. Since the last century, there have been faint records of Western sailors and explorers telling about eyes on the seabed, but all are considered legends. Like lost scripts swallowed by time, these records exist, but have never been deciphered. Modern science explains that bioluminescent organisms often use light to lure prey or defend themselves. But in the Mariana Trench, the light lasts for hours, arranged in a series with a beginning and an end. For decades, humans have been helpless against this phenomenon, and no device has been able to clearly record its origin. Is this just a biological coincidence? Or is it a forbidden knowledge buried under the ocean? Could it be that these signals never disappeared, but were just waiting for a powerful enough tool to reread them? When humans were desperate, AI stepped in like a new pair of eyes, peering into the darkness. But what it found was unlike any previous hypothesis. For decades, scientists struggled with the data collected from the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Thousands of hours of recordings only yielded messy dots of light, seemingly meaningless. Humans, with their limited minds and easily tired eyes, were helpless before the black wall of the ocean. But that's where AI comes in. Cool, tireless, undistracted, a second pair of eyes peering into the abyss. What sets AI apart is its ability to recognize patterns. Where humans need to connect data points one by one, AI can process millions of them at once. Artificial neural networks act like artificial brains. They learn to find rhythms hidden in chaos, repeating sequences that the human eye would never notice. In other words, where the human eye sees only meaningless blinking dots, AI can hear their rhythms like rhythmic music. A real-world example illustrates this best. Deciphering the carbonized scrolls from Mount Vesuvius was once considered impossible. But AI has read each obscure character buried for 2,000 years by recognizing microscopic patterns that the human eye cannot. Similarly, AI is now looking into the deep sea. Light signals that were thought to be random turned out to have a repetitive structure, with a beginning and an end, like sentences that no one had ever read. And if AI could read the language of darkness, what would it reveal? Was it just a sophisticated biological mechanism, or a message from the ocean, or some intelligence that had been hidden for thousands of years? If you also want to discover what AI has read from those light sentences, click like so we can continue. Because right after that, the first discoveries will reveal a truth that is much more horrifying than imagined. In this era, people expect AI not only because it can replace us in our daily work, but also because it can touch the limits that human intelligence has been powerless against. When facing the deep sea, a place so dark that sunlight has never reached, we can only see vague patches, hear scattered sounds. But AI is different. It does not need intuition, is not influenced by emotions. It only knows how to look at data, find repeating patterns and unusual gaps. It is this unfeeling objectivity that makes us trust, because it allows us to hear for the first time the languages hidden in the darkness. However, AI cannot decide on its own meaning. It can detect structure, but the interpretation of whether it is a message, randomness, or metaphor still belongs to humans. Therefore, every technological advance always comes with a question. Do we have the courage to understand what is revealed? When humans and AI work together, raw data becomes a window into the unknown. One of the first experiments was conducted in 2021 when an international team deployed an autonomous diving robot equipped with an AI camera in the southern Mariana Trench. Its task was to record every bright spot within a radius of several kilometers and transmit the data directly to the center. Instead of the expected scattered bright spots, the system collected tens of thousands of frames with continuous flashing rhythms. When the data series was input into the AI, something unprecedented in the history of deep-sea research began to appear. The image on the screen was like a secret film. In the eternal darkness, the lights flickered in clusters, intermittently and then continuously, like invisible characters etched into the black background of the ocean. The AI found that they had a distinct three-part structure: a regular opening, a varied middle, and a brief ending like the full stop of a sentence. Each sentence of light lasted from 40 to 90 seconds, then stopped, then repeated at the same rhythm after a few minutes. This couldn't be a coincidence. Analyzing further, the AI discovered seasonal changes. In the summer, the signals were long and had many transitions. In the winter, the signals were short and intense. Notably, the signals from the eastern Mariana Islands were slow, while those from the western Mariana Islands were fast and urgent, similar to the regional accent differences in human languages. And then, the shocking result appeared. When compared to the language database, the AI realized that the repeating pattern closely resembled Morse code, a system used in war to send emergency signals. No one dared to confirm that this was actually a language, but the structural similarities were obvious. Rather than a chaotic bioluminescence, the flickers looked like a form of information. The initial suggestion was that there might be a communication mechanism at the bottom of the sea between bioluminescent creatures that we have never observed. But a more daring hypothesis suggests that this is not individual communication, but a collective signal, like a concerted musical score of an entire community, or worse, an invisible coordination system beyond human understanding. The comparison reminds researchers of the Voynich manuscript, the world's most mysterious book. For centuries, scholars and cryptographers were helpless against the strange, twisted characters. Only when modern AI learned to recognize the structure did a few pieces of the puzzle emerge, proving that the book had grammatical rules. Now something similar is happening at the bottom of the ocean. AI is reading sentences in light for the first time. And the terrifying question arises. If a manuscript has puzzled humanity for 600 years, What will an hour-long series of light signals in the depths of the Mariana Trench reveal? The atmosphere in the research room is tense. All eyes turn to the screen. Have they just touched a mystery that belongs not to human civilization, but to another intelligence? The intelligence of the ocean? Do you think these light sequences are just biological behavior or a mystery from the ocean? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Because next, when the signal is compared with history, a chilling coincidence with the disasters that shook the world will appear. As the AI continued to compare the light data with decades of seismic and oceanographic records, a chilling truth gradually emerged. The strongest signal sequences, lasting for hours, repeating in the Mariana night, were not random. They often appeared right before the world suffered terrible ocean disasters. In the analysis, a signal segment from December 2004 clearly appeared. Just days after the intense flickering of light in the trench, the Indian Ocean tsunami struck, claiming the lives of more than 230,000 people. Another signal appeared in March 2011, this time with an unusually long, rapid pulse. Less than a week later, an earthquake off the coast of Japan created a double disaster. A tsunami overran the shore, and Fukushima became a nuclear nightmare. The AI could not name the meaning of the light sequences, but this coincidence made the researchers exclaim, "Is the ocean trying to warn us, but we just don't know how to listen?" Those pulses of light, in the eyes of the AI, resemble short phrases with ambiguous meanings. Rising water, breaking night, roaring silence. Is it just the machine's way of interpreting the data, or is it really a message stored in the language of darkness? The ambiguity makes the story even more haunting. If we take it as a metaphor, the ocean is giving us a mirror, that our indifference, exploitation, and destruction of the environment will only lead to the day of reckoning. But if we take it as a prophecy, what will happen when that signal appears again? Do we dare to believe that those flashes are the voice of a deep intelligence, trying to send a final warning before the disaster repeats itself? The fear becomes even more relevant when connected to the present. Climate change, rising sea levels, and increasing frequency of natural disasters are threatening hundreds of millions of people. What AI found in the Mariana, intentionally or not, touches directly on humanity's greatest fear today. The Earth may have warned us many times, but we never listened. And now, is it too late to change? The most terrifying thing is, the light sequences that AI has recently discovered in the last 2 years are becoming denser and more intense. We do not know which event they are associated with, nor can we confirm the causal connection. But if they are indeed warnings, then what are we on the threshold of? What makes scientists shiver? The Mariana is not the only place sending signals. The light sentences have been recorded in Japan, Chile, and Indonesia, all of which have suffered tsunamis. Are we looking at an ancient planetary warning system, or is there a giant intelligence living beneath our feet? What was discovered in the Mariana Islands was just the first piece of a much larger picture. As AI was deployed to analyze troves of data collected from various ocean regions, an incongruous truth began to emerge. The Mariana Islands were not the only place where orderly sequences of light were being emitted. In Chile, off the Pacific coast. In Indonesia, where two giant tectonic plates meet. Even in Antarctica, under hundreds of meters of ice, similar pulses of light were being recorded. Every signal, even halfway around the world, followed the same pattern. The AI determined that there was a global grammar in the darkness. Each signal sequence had a beginning, middle, and end, with slight variations depending on location. But the core, the repeating structure, was identical. It's like different civilizations on land, from Egypt to the Maya, from Greece to ancient China, all carved the same motifs: spirals, divine eyes, water, and moon symbols. Now, under the ocean, that light motif reappears, like an ancient language that belongs to no particular civilization. Imagine, the ancient Egyptians built pyramids with corridors pointing straight to the constellation Orion. The Maya accurately calculated the lunar eclipse cycle, leaving stone tablets that predicted disasters. The Greeks told of Atlantis, a city that sank into the deep sea after a disaster. The Chinese recorded a dragon king in the sea, signaling an upcoming flood. All carry a common message. The ocean both nourishes and destroys, and always leaves signs before natural disasters occur. Now, data from AI highlights that terrifying rule. The string of lights in the Mariana Islands before the 2004 disaster. In Japan, before 2011. In Chile, before the 1960 earthquake, one of the strongest ever recorded. And in Antarctica, a bright signal was detected just before a giant iceberg broke off, changing global ocean currents. Is it all a coincidence? Or is this the warning code that Earth has been sending for thousands of years, but that humans have never been able to decipher? The paradox lies in this. No civilization in history has been able to communicate across the vast ocean, yet the symbols, myths, and signals repeat themselves. The Greek Atlantis, the great flood of the Bible, the dark waters that devour of Sumerian mythology, and the dragon awakening of Eastern legend all speak of a disaster coming from the sea, with signs that preceded it. Now, AI is recreating that motif in the language of light, as if ancient myths were just a pale version of scientific truth hidden at the bottom of the ocean. Scientists are beginning to ask, have humans known about this phenomenon for a long time, but that knowledge has been buried or intentionally erased? If the light strings are indeed intelligence networks operating across the oceans, then they are not simply biological behaviors. They are like a global nervous system, where the ocean transmits signals from the Pacific to the Indian Ocean, from the Arctic to the Antarctic. A brain of the Earth, operating silently for millions of years. And this is the point that makes the audience shudder. If the ocean has memory, if it has sent warnings to humanity through light, through myth, through legend, then why have we never listened? Is this the common secret that all civilizations have touched and then left buried? And more importantly, is modern humanity on the verge of opening the door that previous civilizations feared to lock? If what AI has unlocked is just the beginning, what lies beyond? A huge scientific truth, or a global curse that we should never unleash? And if you also feel that these signals could be pieces of a global secret, please share the video so that more people know. Because right after that, when the doubts are connected, we will face the terrifying possibility that this is not just a natural phenomenon. Throughout history, there have been languages that have existed for thousands of years and that people can still read today. Egyptian hieroglyphs, Greek, and ancient Chinese. They became the foundation for human knowledge. But there are also languages that have mysteriously disappeared. Mayan script, the Voynich manuscript, and symbols carved on the resurrection stone, all of which seem to have had their decoding keys taken away, leaving gaps in collective memory. If the string of lights at the bottom of the ocean is truly linguistic, the question is, why was it never clearly recorded by ancient people? while they observed astronomy, built history, and passed down legends? Was that knowledge once understood, but intentionally erased? Did the civilizations that knew how to listen to the ocean disappear in some cataclysmic event, leaving a void that we are only now beginning to touch? Are the legends of the Great Flood, Atlantis sinking into the sea, or dragons bringing storms just faint memories of a knowledge that once existed? If so, who chose to erase it? Nature, time, or the hand of man, so that this dangerous knowledge would never return? And the scariest question, should we read the entire buried message? Because once AI has opened the door, no one can guarantee that what is inside is the knowledge to save. Or is it the curse that every previous civilization tried to hide from the light? We may have just opened one door, but countless others remain locked. Please subscribe to the channel, because in the next videos, you will see even more terrifying mysteries, traces that humanity still dares not name. After all the data, the light chains, the half-scientific, half-mysterious hypotheses, perhaps what haunts us most is not the answer, but the question. What will we do with that knowledge? The eye can illuminate the darkness, can recognize the rhythms hidden deep in the ocean, but AI is just a tool. The right to decide how to understand and how to behave still belongs to humans. Maybe it is just a sophisticated biological phenomenon, but it could also be a warning that the Earth sent thousands of years ago. The important thing is not fear, but responsibility. Because knowledge, if only to be admired, is meaningless. But if we know how to listen and act, it can save all of humanity. Thank you for accompanying us throughout the journey to discover the secrets from the darkness of the Mariana Trench. Your presence and patience are the motivation for us to continue to bring stories that are both creepy and full of human meaning. If you feel that what you have just heard is worth pondering, please leave a like, a comment, and share your perspective. What do you think? Is this just a coincidence? Or is an ancient wisdom calling from the bottom of the sea? And please share the video for many people to ponder. Who knows, we will be the first generation to truly listen to the message from the darkness. And don't look away, because in the next videos, we will enter other mysteries, where truth and fear intersect, where the answer can surprise the whole world. Are you ready to open the next doors?